The Grimwade family actually showing real life despite social media feeding us all that real hype. We just some real guys trying to give some high definition to reality. Family acrobatically juggling life, smothered in cracks to avoid eternal casualty trust. It ain't easy, but teamwork make the dream work. It's me, Ella, Hezzy, Hosanna, Harper and Hallie. And I ain't forget that has a rage and family.
Right, Hallie, we set.
Yep.
Where's the comb? Have I gone and lost it again? Is it? Oh, it's on the floor, Hallie. Sorry, I dropped it. Alright, you're going to sit around and face that way so Mummy can do this side first. Okay, good to go. Try and refresh this front bit, yeah? Hi guys, it's lovely to see you all. Well, I can't see you, but you can see me evidently. I hope it's a lovely sight to behold. What a stupid thing to say. Anyway, I hope you're all well. And yes, there was something I wanted to say. Thank you so much to those of you that send us gifts in the post, that send us like letters or cards, and it's just really nice that you take your time out and try to consider, you know, like our different likes and dislikes, or not dislikes, our different likes and I don't know, things that we all do, and you try and write about those things and put them in letters for us, and you've done pictures for the children that try and involve their hobbies and what they like to do. It's really kind of you, and we really appreciate it. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you today, because you know, in the hustle and bustle of life, some things like that can sometimes be overlooked, and I wanted to make sure that you know we haven't overlooked your kindness. Okay, so you know who you are. Big thank you to those of you that have sent us gifts. I hope you're all having a good day. We are just getting ready for the girls to go to a sleepover. They're going to their cousin's house, because it seems in our family that when there's one birthday, oh gosh, sorry, hair's getting caught in my hand. When there's one birthday, it's like someone else's birthday is shortly following. So in the month of May, there are a couple of birthdays.
It's not as bad as March.
It's not as bad as March, that is correct. March is extra busy, but I'm basically just trying to refresh the front of Hallie's hair and Hosanna's hair, because they've not only got their sleepover, but we've got some other fun things that we're doing this weekend too. If you want to know what those things are, make sure that you tune in. I'm not going to let you know what those other things are, but of course if you're watching, you should see what we get up to this weekend sometime later on in the week, okay? So I basically, with the girls' braids, as you see, I did them before. Sorry, I have to keep making sure that I'm not just hanging my head down on this side, because my hair is heavy, so I must make sure that I keep my head upright. With the girls' hair, it's been in for about 2 weeks now, I think it is, and the front was getting quite fluffy, so I just wanted them to look super presentable, so just taking out 2 front rows and I'm redoing them quickly. We don't really make it a habit for the girls to just go off to sleepovers, but we tend to keep it within the family if they do go to a sleepover.
Especially when they're young.
Especially when they're young, definitely so. So Hosanna, do you want to come over here for me a second? You can just come and sit right there next to me so we can talk while I'm doing the hair. Here, is that right? Hair. How do you say it if you're from Jamaica? I can't hear you though, can I? Come sit, Harper. Good girl, you come and sit on this side. Try not to sit on the extensions. There you go. So, pardon?
I just want to chill with Mummy.
You just want to chill with Mummy, that's fine. You're welcome to chill with me anytime. So Hosanna and Hallie, where you're going to your cousins this evening, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and Harper, you're going to Grandma's this evening, aren't you?
Grandma.
Yes, please don't play with the hair. Yes, you're going to Grandma Brown's.
And why, baby, is Harper going to Grandma Brown's?
Harper is going to Grandma Brown's because the big girls are going to a big girl sleepover, although they're, you know, big girls because the girls want to be called big girls, the little girls want to be called big girls, but the little sisters are going to their grandparents' house. So their cousin turned 6 in the week, and she's got a little sister as well, but the little sister's going to her grandma's, so it's only the ones of similar age that are going to this sleepover.
I'm going to Grandma.
So I decided, okay, can't have Harper feeling like she's not doing a sleepover, so we're sending her off to Grandma Brown. So you're having a sleepover too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is that going to be fun?
Yeah, and then Grandma's going to pick me up.
Grandma, I think Grandma's actually going to pick you up from our house this evening, yes. That'd be good, won't it?
So you got a chauffeur too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool, huh?
Yeah.
So girls, like, how often have you girls gone to sleepovers? Can you remember?
Last time we went, I think, was about last year or something?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
you've gone to your cousin's
Yeah,
house
last year.
twice now, I think.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
it
stayed
was.
over there twice because once was planned and once wasn't really planned. I think that's what it was. So this is the third time you're staying at this cousin's house. And who else's house in your lifetime have you stayed at?
Mostly Grandma Brown's. Because Mummy and Daddy sometimes have some weddings and we trust Grandma Brown a lot.
Yeah, of course, she's your grandma.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Hosanna, that's an important thing that you said, that we trust Grandma Brown. So therefore, obviously, you've gone to her house a lot. And we trust, obviously, all sets of your grandparents, but Grandma Brown's very convenient. So we would not just send our children just to anybody's house because they're our children and they're the most precious and dear things that we have in this world. And you can't just trust anybody. And it's a sad thing to say, but you just can't. Like, there's people that you call friends who, you know, fortunately we haven't experienced this, but you've heard of it happen, unfortunately, in the news or in people's life stories where stuff has happened to them and, you know, they've struggled to tell their parents growing up and it's been... Sorry. They've struggled to tell their parents growing up and it's put them in a hard situation in life. And it's a really sad thing.
With a lot of stress to bear.
With a lot of stress to bear. It's
responsibility they think it's their fault.
Yes,
all this
precisely.
kind of stuff.
It's affected how they have relationships with people
Other
because they
people,
can't trust people generally. So, you know, you really, as a parent, you really have to take it seriously who you send your kids to, whose houses you send your kids to stay over.
And not even just stay over. But
No,
like
just spend
who
time
you
with.
allow your children to spend time with. And obviously you can't be on a militant thing where you're like, oh, you can't see or whatever. But
you have to make a judgment call. And of course there's always time where you might make the wrong judgment. But you just hopefully trust God and trust your instincts that you're not making the wrong judgment, you know? We, to be safe and obviously even for less deep issues like what they're being told or how they're being looked after, how many times their skin's being creamed, are they going to be left to their own devices or is the adult actually going to entertain them? Just little things, you know, you make decisions according to how you feel people will be around your children. So yeah, we send our kids to people's houses who we trust and we know well enough and also who we know the children will want to spend time with by themselves and feel comfortable and confident enough to be at someone's house overnight without Mummy and Daddy being there. Because Hallie, what happened to you the first time you stayed over at your cousin's house?
I cried because I wanted Mummy and Daddy. Yeah, because I didn't really be at their like at other people's house very much.
yeah,
So like at other friends' house. I've only like been like Grandma's house before, but yeah, I've still been there many times.
you're blocked up, aren't you, Poppy?
Yeah.
But
So yeah, my auntie came up. Auntie Rochelle came up, or Uncle Marvin, but either of them, because it was a long time ago. It was when I was 3, so.
you were right, baby. It was when you was 3, and you were quite young, but you wanted to stay because Hosanna was staying, and we were like, okay, well, let's see how it goes. In fact, if you've watched any of our videos, you see our family fun day video. That was the day. Head this way, please, Hallie, darling.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
one of our first videos.
Yeah, it's one of our first videos. Go check it out. It's called Family Fun Day. And then after that Family Fun Day is the day Hosanna and Hallie went and stayed over at one of their cousins' houses for the first time. And it was not planned. It was totally... bend your head this way, please,
Totally
Baba.
improv.
Yeah, totally improv, which was nice for them. But then we did get like a call at what time was it? About 11:30. Hallie's kind of crying for you guys because she wasn't used to it. And it's all things like that you have to take into consideration when you're making a decision as to whether your kids are going to stay over at people's houses. Fortunately, my cousin was able to deal with Hallie fine and just comforted her and she went to sleep, and then we came and got you lot the next day, didn't we? So you managed to stay over the night. Yeah, I remember actually as a child, one of our cousins came and stayed over at our house and they weren't used to staying over and their mum had to come and pick them up in the middle of the night, which was quite funny. But fortunately, Hallie made it all throughout the night that time and managed to sleep over at your cousin's house. So, do we think we're going to have any crying this time, girls?
No!
Oh, but...
Are you right there, Harp?
She's copying me.
You're not going to cry, are you?
No!
What is that weird voice you're putting on?
She's copying me because I said no.
Oh,
And then she went, no.
Oh, you're taking the mick out of her having a frog in her
Oh, a
throat.
husky. You taking a Mickey Mouse? Why are you teasing your sister? Why are you teasing her?
Because I'm going to be her friend.
Her friend.
Okay, cool. So you're teasing her because you're her friend?
Yes.
That's not a very friendly thing to do.
She's my little sister, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Babe, I've got a question for you, because I also think that there's a difference in culture as well as to, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, for us, like, I was readily allowed to stay at people's house. I think you're right. Like, I think in white English culture generally, like, you have schoolmates and they say come over and then it's cool and you can just go and that kind of thing. I definitely think I've noticed there's a definite difference in the cultures, and I was, as a kid, allowed to stay. Lots of people stayed at my house, like, all the time, and we had, don't get it twisted, we had excellent time. Some of my fondest memories were, you know, times where we were, you know, having sleepovers or whatever, and we'd play computer till the crack of dawn or whatever. The funny thing is, and maybe hypocritically, I wouldn't allow my children to do that now, but I don't know, it's just different strokes for different folks, isn't it? Like, as parents, you work out what works for you with your children, and you get one chance at raising your children, and when they're yours, and obviously we know God gives you your children, but you know, you're put in charge here on earth, and you know, you get one chance to bring them up how you see fit, and that's why I always salute anyone who's just trying their best, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. We're all just out here trying our best. No one's got the manual, no one's perfect out here, but there is definitely a difference in the two cultures. Because I even remember, like, you know, when I used to ask some of my black mates, as opposed to, well, I didn't really generally have very many white mates, to be totally honest. I had a few, but I could probably count them on one hand. But anytime I asked, you know, like Mike or any of them, man, like, oh, you know, can you stay over or whatever, I think basically at first it was a big deal, but then basically after Auntie Winnie, you know, knew me, knew my family or whatnot, then obviously it was fine. Do you know what I mean? And they weren't Jamaican, they were African, they were Sierra Leonean, and yeah, as I said, it was a big deal at first, but then as you build the relationship, and I think that's what, you know, Ella was talking about earlier, just, you can't just trust anyone, like, off the bat, especially not with your children, because they are so precious. And also sometimes, yeah, like, for instance, we homeschool our children, and one of the reasons we do that is because we want to influence them growing up, because anyone who your children are around will influence them in some way, shape or form, but we wanted to have the main influence on our children growing up as we're their parents. So equally, if we let someone go to a sleepover or whatnot, they're learning from the environment they're in. So basically, we just are very, you know, to some people it may seem like controlling or whatnot. That's not really, you know,
or brainwashing sometimes.
Yeah, people will say all these kind of things, but trust me, it's done out of love, man. It's done out of I want to protect you, you know, as much as I can, especially from the tender years where you are learning everything for the first time. Do you know what I mean? When you're older, of course, you're not going to be in a bubble forever. Like, you're not even in a bubble now. Do you know what I mean? Hezzy goes on tour. These girls do go on things, you know, with their cheerleading and stuff like that. But there are certain things you don't have to say yes to everything.
And there's nothing wrong with trying to give them the best start from right at the beginning. Anyway, the best start that we see fit anyway.
There you go. As my wife said, exactly right, my dear.
I think that everything that you said is correct, babe. And, you know, each parent will raise their kids as they see fit. And one question I did want to ask you girls, though, is why is a sleepover better than just having your friends come round? Like, what's better about it?
I think it's better to have a sleepover rather than just have your friends over. It's because you get to be there for, like, more than one day, and they get to be there at your house for more than one day, and you get to be around them more and you get to know them a bit more. So yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah, it's kind of seeing them in a different environment. You know, you're with them right through the night and you're with them as they open their eyes in the morning. Yeah, I totally understand that. I think as you grow up and you become an adult, you're like, right, I don't want no one with me in the morning when I wake up. I open my eyes straight away. But as a child, it's fine. Well, no, not just any. Of course, you want your husband.
Anyway, hey, what do you think?
I was going to say, because you get to be at other people's houses and it's more fun and
Because
yeah.
it's something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You're growing up. You want to discover different things and not always the same, isn't it, babe?
Yep.
Yes, precisely. And of course, I want to wake up next to my husband every day.
Ah, look at you.
Yeah, but I just mean other people in general is what I mean, babe. Anyway, girls, I need to finish your hair so that we can get out of the door so you girls can go to your sleepovers.
Yeah.
Yes? I hope you have a lovely time.
Yeah.
And Mummy and Daddy will have our beds to ourselves tonight without any girls climbing in the bed.
Yeah, just with me in it, babe.
Oh, just with you in it, that's right. Anyway, guys.
Love you all.
If you have any ideas on sleepovers yourself, put it in the comment section below. Love you
sir.
guys.
Bye.
So you think you were right? Bring it on, prove me wrong.